Have you ever wanted to produce your own indie pop record? Well, today I'm going to walk you through how I produced my new song, I Need to Let Myself Cry, and hopefully you will learn a few things that you can apply to your song. First of all, hi, I'm Erica Jo. I'm a singer, songwriter, and producer, and one of my biggest passions as an artist is teaching other people, specifically women and female identifying folks, how to produce. I think it is a super liberating thing to be able to take your ideas from your head and make it something you can actually listen to on your own without having to pay for studio time or pay for anyone else's time. And truly, no one knows your vision like you. Let's do it. So one of the biggest challenges with this song was making something that was still engaging and interesting, even when it was a super soft and slow part. So in the first part of the song, the first verse, it's just me singing with a piano. So I was like, how can we still make it interesting and not purely a piano ballad? And I listened to Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo for reference because they do have a lot of ballads either on the guitar or the piano. If you don't know, their producers are Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother, for Billie Eilish, and Dan Nigro for Olivia Rodrigo. So those are great people to listen to for inspiration if you like the way they produce. But one thing I noticed, I was specifically listening to When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish and What Was I Made For? And what they did was they added all of these different textures throughout. So I'll get to that in a minute, but I have little rain sounds and little kind of woodwind sounds to keep it going. But let's start with the piano and see what that sounds like. So I layered two different pianos here. I've got the right hand of the piano on one side. So this is all the top hand, what you would play. And then I have the left hand down here. You could just put this on one track. I wanted to put them on two different tracks so I could pan one to the right and one to the left. And to me, this just made it sound a little more realistic, as if you were actually recording a real piano versus this is just a MIDI piano. And MIDI is basically any instrument that you're programming in like this. It's not a live recording. So here I've got like E, C, B. I'm programming those notes in. Super soft, simple. And then I added, this other texture. And let's listen to what it sounds like. I hope you can hear that. It's super quiet. Something that Phineas really preaches is the subtlety of things. And so I really tried to play with that here. One thing that you can kind of get carried away with when you're producing is adding too much. And in a song like a ballad or a slower song, you don't want to take away from the song itself. Everything that you add in the production should elevate the song, but it shouldn't take away from it. Unless it's a song that's like focused on the production, but that's a different story. If it's a song that's focused on the songwriting, you want to enhance the songwriting. And then that's just me singing. And actually my mixing and mastering engineer, Nico Fabito, he's amazing. I'll tag him in the comments. Added a little kind of radio effect here. Honestly, my vocal chain changes for every song. I kind of modify it to the vibe of the track. But here I had a little bit of pitch correct, which I actually rarely use. Usually when I modify my pitch, I'll go to the flex pitch here, which you do by going to flex and then you go flex pitch. And then you can kind of adjust like, okay, do you want it to be 100% or somewhere in the middle? You can also literally drag the note. I like to be very meticulous with this because you can go for the super auto-tune Charlie XCX sound, which sounds super dope to me, honestly, if that's the vibe you want in your song. But if you don't want auto-tune to be noticeable, I like to go in manually and tweak things. So in addition to the vocals and pianos, like I said, I wanted to add a little texture, kind of giving that Billie Eilish vibe. And one of the things I do all the time when I'm out and about is record different sounds on my phone because I think it sounds super cool to integrate nature and real life sounds into your music. I have a little rain outside my kitchen window that I sampled here. And then I have this very Phineas-esque woods overblown crinkle. I got it from Labs, which is awesome. Definitely download it. It's free. And it's a bunch of really cool sounds and live instruments. But I've got the sound that goes from left to right. Sick. I love that. And I kind of did that as a segue into the sub bass of the song, which just kind of brings you into a next section that has a little more oomph. So just got a sub bass here. White noise here, build that effect. You can actually make your own white noise sound here. Just copy these settings, screenshot it, and then you want to do high cut frequency to your taste, but like just copy this because that's what I did with another YouTube video. So hey, the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so then we go into the kind of bouncier second verse of the song.
Again, could you? I need to let myself cry. But what would that
All the levels are fucked up in this, so just listen to the original version. In fact, I highly recommend listening to the song. I'll link it in the bio before and after watching this video, and just notice all the different things you hear before and after. I recorded my brother on the drums, which was amazing. So fun to work with him. Cy Thompson, based in the Bay Area. He's an amazing jazz drummer, and he really brought this song to life and gave it more of a groove, more of a jazzy feeling. And he actually had a clap cymbal, which is like a real cymbal that sounds like an electronic clap, and that's what we ended up using in the song, and it was dope. That one. And we literally recorded this in his bedroom with me holding this exact mic up over him. Single mic drum take, worked just fine. Because this was a lo-fi drum song and I had a lot more textures and layers going on, so I didn't need the drums to be super forward. So we kind of got away with this, versus I did record him on a single mic on another song and it wasn't powerful enough. So I ended up hiring someone else to record it. Oliver Cooper, hit him up to LA based. So the drums, we also did those in a couple different takes, and I comped those so you can comp instruments just like you comp vocals, especially because there's actually a tempo change in the bridge. So he was just like, can we just not want to die and do this separately? Cool. So then I had an 808 pattern in here, which kind of is the base of the song, and I was kind of inspired by Afro beats rhythms here, just to give it kind of a bouncier, bassier feeling, in addition to the real life drums. And then I had kicks in here, which almost identically follow the rhythm of the 808, but it's just a little more sparse, so you can play around with what you want to accentuate. And then I had a cello in here, and this is just MIDI cello using the Labs Symphony pack, which is free, and like, you got it. You just got to download it. I'll also link that in the bio. But this was just a placeholder because I ended up having an amazing cellist record in a studio and send me the stems. Michelle Mao, LA based, hit her up. Speaking of live strings, I recorded live violin right here in my little closet studio, which I'll have to do a tour of sometime. That's my little studio. I'll do a tour one time. I mean, it's got to be the quickest tour in history, probably 10 seconds, but I'll do it. I'll do it for y'all. Okay, so I had to do a couple takes close to the mic, and I had to do a couple takes standing further away from the mic just to give it more of a symphony feel, even though I only had one violinist. And this was my first time recording live instruments and like bringing someone in, and she was awesome. Michelle Sheehy also hit her up in LA. Let's see what this sounds like. Super light, very reverby. I have it on 50% reverb. Let's see what it sounds like if I do none. A 100%. This is where I had it before. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Gorge. So that was that. Oh yeah, so in the beginning we just had this soft piano, and then I added a grand piano just to bring out the piano even more, because at the beginning it's not super present. And I added this glass anthem. Basically just adding more layers once again to keep it interesting. I feel like you always want to be introducing new things throughout a song, even if they're super subtle, because we're fighting for people's attention these days, unfortunately. Slash, that's just what makes a better song, to me. Personal opinion. Oh, I love this little texture. This was just an ear candy. Only happens this one time. Guys, I'm delusional. I'm like so tired, and I still have to pack for a flight tomorrow morning, and it is 11 p.m. It could be worse. Okay, then we have the big bridge, and there's the tempo change, and the drums sound like this. But I also wanted to add a little more bassiness to them, just because again, it wasn't a very professional drum recording. I added another kick in here, in addition to these two I already had. Oh, I also did add a clap, I guess, in addition to the cymbal clap. Then everything kind of fades out at the end, and it's back to just the original piano and vocal. I did add this little bird sound. When I say the only thing to get me through, I kind of wanted to give like a other side of the tunnel vibe.
Get me through.
It's super subtle, but this is just the ear candy I live for. Come on. That's giving like Snow White. Okay, so now we're on to the vocals, which to me, especially in production, because I love vocals and I love vocal stacking, sometimes I'll think a track sounds super bare and I'm like, what's missing? I have all the elements I think I need. And then I'll go in with the vocals and it sounds way fuller. And sometimes you just need to make space for that if you're someone who likes to play with vocals. So let's go into these oohs and ahs in the verses. And they're all panned to the left and the right, hard panned. All different harmonies. I definitely do each harmony on left and right, and sometimes I do 2 takes left and right, so 4 takes total of 1 harmony part. That part goes with "Not hating you's just said."
Cause you say we can't go back, but I still could.
And then for that bridge, I wanted it to feel so desperate, so it just needed to be like a chorus of me begging my ex to come back because your girl was down bad at one point. So this is what the background vocals sound like.
If you let me, I would give it one last try. I promise that I still have one more size.
Side note, I loved that lyric. Honestly, it makes me cringe every time, but that's kind of the point. Like, I wanted it to sound so desperate.
To show you, to shadow you, if you let me,
And then we've got a bunch of doubles just for little parts I want to accentuate. The doubles are me singing exactly the same thing as the lead vocal, and you just hard pan them to the left and the right to just bring out certain words. So that would be.
no, I can't go back again.
So if you notice, I basically doubled the entire second verse, but I did not have any doubles in the first verse. So that's something to make the second verse progress in some way, versus I wanted this first verse to feel super raw. So if I had a ton of vocals, it's less powerful than just having that one lonely voice. We've got harmonies, pan to the left and the right. I love this part. Ad-libs.
I would give it one last try. Show you, to shadow you, if you let me
I literally remember I added those at the very end. Like, I had recorded most of this for a long time, and I was like, it's not hitting at the end like it needs to hit. Ad-libs. Ad-libs, I feel like, are the heart and soul of any song. It's like where the personality comes in. It's kind of like the true emotions, and they're fun because you kind of just riff. You're not even thinking. It's like whatever spills out, and then sometimes it works, and sometimes you do it again, and you choose your favorite. But yeah, that just added to the desperation. And that's it. I hope you liked this little walkthrough. I hope you've learned some things that you can apply to your own music, and I would love to hear what y'all make. If you make music and you just release something, drop it in the comments. Let's get a little community going. Everyone share your stuff. Let's all listen and support each other. Thanks so much for listening to I Need to Let Myself Cry. I am Erica Joe on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, everywhere. Keep sharing it with family and friends. It means a lot. Keep streaming and listen now and see if you hear all the things we just walked through together. Love y'all. Thanks for joining me on this journey.